Hey there, it's Kathy Alessandro, your Yes I Can coach, and we are back for day 4 of the Great Mind Reset. I'm going to take just a minute here and let people come on because we're right straight up on the hour. And I know our email reminder went out, and actually, I think it went out. I didn't look to see, but I'm pretty sure it should have gone out. But there's technology and there's human error, so who knows? Hopefully, though. Anyway, I hope you're having a fabulous day. We are here on a Thursday. For those of you who are watching after the fact, welcome. Excited to have you here watching the replay as well. It's been a pretty incredible week and lots of good stuff, lots of content. Hopefully you are got some big nuggets and some big takeaways as you have been working through this week. And I'm so excited and grateful, honored really, that you have spent your time with me this week as we're going through this. And if you are watching later on down the line, same with that. I would love to connect with you. I would love to hear from you. As I've said before, all my emails are from me directly and nobody else checks my email. So if you want to hit reply and let me know how things are going with you, how it's working as you're working through this. And then, of course, we still have the Facebook live stream. So whether you're in the Facebook group, we've got some people over there, but we also have people watching over on YouTube Live. On the live streaming there, and I don't think the comments actually work there, but if you've allowed StreamYard to show your name, then I am able to see those comments live here on my StreamYard panel. So today is day 4. We are going to be stepping into a little more of, well, some people might call it the woo-woo. I'm going to call it the spiritual. And really talk about that restlessness that you may be feeling and how that may be impacting or driving what it is that is your true passion and your real purpose here on earth, in your life, in what you're doing and who you're serving and all those things, right? It's an important piece, really important piece. Because a lot of the times we have that restlessness, we have that nudge, we have that yearning. I'm not going to call it desire. I'm going to call it yearning, right? And we don't listen to it. We push it down, we push it away. We're like, no, that can't be right, right? And in actuality, we're being called to something greater. We're being called to step into that true purpose for who we are and what we do. So before we step into that, let me take a recap for the last few days. So we actually have talked about a number of things. We started off by talking about dreaming and dreaming big, really big. And that's going to kind of touch on where we go today, right? Because those big dreams that we have all play a role in it. We've talked about fears and obstacles and what's getting in your way, toxicity and clutter and toxicity and clutter, and not just physical space and realms, but in our heads, in our hearts, in our space, in our whatever, right? It's in all those areas. We've talked about the Yes I Can pillars. The 3 pillars yesterday and the 4 principles, those 3 pillars being incredibly important: self-care, sacred space, and support. And those pillars being the 3 foundational things that are going to hold up your Yes I Can life, or whatever you want to call it, life. And those 4 pillars being big, being bold, being brave, and bright, being resilient, and being you, a critical piece of all this, really showing up as you. Which is something that I'm fully stepping into. And then today, this idea of restlessness. And what is that restlessness that's calling you? What is it that may be trying to nudge its way to the top? How do you kind of allow for that? And what might it mean? So that's where we're going to take the dive today. I don't know whether maybe you saw my Facebook post earlier. It's going out in my newsletter tomorrow, but I did post it across my social medias this morning. And it was this idea of taking a step back, taking a moment of quiet and silence and solitude. It may be something as, it can be referred to as a dark night of the soul. It can be referred to as just feeling that need to be away from it all, away from the crazy frenetic environment that we live in, or the city that we're in, or whatever, and kind of take a step back and look inward, and really learn to listen quietly, carefully, in a contemplative way. Really important to really understand what this restlessness that's inside of you and what it may be saying, how it may be speaking to you, maybe what it is that you're pushing down or pushing away or or for that matter, running away from, that is truly your calling. And, it's scary to step into that kind of thing. So let's talk about that. What is that burning desire that you keep ignoring? Something that keeps bubbling up to the surface, something that you're really wanting to do. Now, this doesn't have to be necessarily with your business, right? Because Yes, I Can is the whole woman. It's a holistic approach, right? Whole with a W, whole. It's the whole woman, the whole person, right? And so this isn't just business. This is, what is that burning desire inside of you that that you're pushing down or running away from? You keep ignoring it. It may be something in your business. It may be doing something slightly different in your business. And you're going to see that even in my business over the next few weeks and months here. Yeah, the whole woman, exactly. Holistic. And yeah, not H, but W, the whole woman. Because here's the thing I found over the years, Brooke, you can't be miserable in your personal life and successful in your business. They don't meet. You can't be struggling and totally unhappy in your business and have a fabulous personal life, right? Right? Exactly. So true. It meets the mark. We've got to find some integration of the two. I get balance is difficult, and it's, some people say balance is bullshit. Okay, whatever. But integration, finding that, right? And so we need to be working on the whole woman. I realize there's a lot of things that go on for a lot of people, but it's finding those tools and those resources, which hopefully I'm giving you some as we're going through this, to be able to find that integration in between your life and your business. Yes, I Can living is all about health, wealth, life, love, and business. From even including the spiritual aspect of that for faith, right? For faith-filled women entrepreneurs, right? And whatever that looks like, whether you believe in God, whether you believe in source or universe or spirit, that higher power, something greater than yourself. Is it possible that something greater than yourself is giving you this burning desire, is giving you these nudges, and you're not listening, you're not stepping up into it? So why are you saying no when it's clearly a yes, right? When things keep bubbling up, when they keep coming up over and over and over again, right? That yearning, that desire, or maybe there's things that actually happen, right? Literally physically happen in our lives that are telling us we need to go to this direction. And again, we keep ignoring it. And it's hard to keep ignoring it because at some point, it's going to be too hard to ignore, right? So I said, it could be your business. It could be doing something new in your business, launching a new program or product, or having a new target market. It could be something in your personal life. Maybe if you're single, it's, you've decided that you really want to focus on some relationships, maybe building some girlfriends or guy friend relationships again. Maybe it's getting out on the dating scene, right? That burning desire. What is it? And how does that work in your overall life? I sent you yesterday, I think that was yesterday, the yes wheel that allows you to kind of take a look at all those areas in your life, and what might be slowing you down, holding you back, not giving that full joy. But there was also a values exercise in there. And if you had a chance to do that, the values exercise, my values are faith, family, freedom, and making a difference, right? And how that all works together in all the decisions I make. So that's an important thing to consider when you're looking at this, right? When I say that burning desire in your personal life as well, not just business, right? Where are you being called? Where are you being nudged? Is it to serve? Is it to become a volunteer somewhere or step into some philanthropy of some sort? Maybe, just maybe, it's even taking that time to just be with someone or be with yourself. Maybe that's it. Maybe you're getting that nudge that you need to take a step back and be quiet and just listen for a minute or two. So I think there's a couple of experiences that I've had when I look at this, and how those exterior experiences or adventures or whatever can really play a part in this, right? I've told this story before about being in a really dark place years ago when I was very first, we hadn't even decided to separate. And certainly hadn't decided to divorce, right? And it was a day, oh my God, it was a day I'll never forget. And we were actually leaving forgot to turn off my watch. We were leaving my daughter's graduation from college, and my ex-husband and I, not ex at the time, right, started having a conversation that made it very clear that things were headed on a path that we were going to be, if nothing else, at least separating, right? And here I was leaving my children. They were all doing their thing. One was staying up at school. The other was going back to her place in San Francisco. And so it was this loss. It was this sense of loss and loneliness, and just like where am I? Here I'm in this, and I just couldn't stop crying. I was bawling as I was leaving that graduation and leaving my family behind. And we got to the freeway to take us to the airport, at Sacramento Airport. And on this chain link fence, there was a sign. It was, I'm not sure whether it was paper or whether it was like an old sheet, but it said, "You are loved." As simple as that. In a moment of darkness where I couldn't see what was going to happen or where I was going or how I was going to get through any of this, right? I was reminded by the universe, by God, for me, that I was loved and that everything was going to be okay. And that gave me a sense of knowing that, all right, this is where my path is leading me. And what's next? What does that look like? Right. So that when I have those burning desires now or things that are coming up, right, I know that I can take a step back and get into, for me, into that spiritual space of listening quietly, really listening. Now, yeah, I'm doing some talking, but I really need to step back and listen to see where my heart, where my gut, where my soul is leading me, right? Okay. And that's what I'm talking about in this restlessness, right? When we're feeling that restlessness of things that we're wanting to experience, that we're wanting to do. Sometimes I have a restlessness when it comes to travel, right? I get tired of being here, and I have a restlessness of wanting adventure in my life. And now adventure doesn't mean I need to go jump off a cliff, although I've sort of kind of done that, not a big cliff, but into this. Those of you who've been to some of my events, you made me see. I mean, it took me, I don't know, almost a minute to jump off that cliff. But also that adventure of just being in something new or trying something different. So I'm asking you, what is that for you? What is it that you keep hearing or feeling or sensing or yearning, and you keep saying no to it? You keep thinking that, no, this can't be, it can't be right, right? But the fact is you're not listening then to that inner intuition, right? We have that inner guidance system within ourselves, whether you believe in a higher power or not. There is an inner guidance system. I'm sure you've been on an elevator and you sense, that, that person who walks in, right? That is your intuition talking to you that maybe you're feeling not safe. Maybe it's not the right thing. Maybe you need to get off, right? And do you listen to it? Do you listen to it? Do you listen to it? How about when you're taking a walk? I'm walking the dog and I sense somebody's behind me, and there's that sense inside. Do I turn around and let them pass? Do I look at the person in the eye? Am I overreacting? Right? Do you listen to it? Are you listening to that inner guidance system for you? Because that's where you're going to get the answers for this restlessness for you. So, to be able to step into your dreams and really find the fulfillment of what it is you're really wanting to do, of where you're really wanting to go, right? We need to have a few steps that go along with that. And I've started teaching that in some of the retreats I'm doing, where we first need to learn to love ourselves and eventually others unconditionally, right? We put so many negative spins on things that we feel about ourselves, right? I mean, I've talked about this already in this masterclass. We think, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not thin enough, I'm not whatever it is, I'm not enough, right? And so we put those things on ourselves, which is really just pushing ourselves down, which is really just saying, I don't love you, I don't accept you for who you are, and you really should be better. Now, if we said that to somebody else, how would that go over? Not well. And I'm guessing that, it's saying that to somebody else is not really going to happen. But we say it to ourselves. We treat ourselves like the dirt and the gum on the bottom of our shoe. Yeah? All right. So we need to turn that around and learn how to allow us to love ourselves in who we are, in all its glory, in all its mess, in all that it's meant to be, right? So, unconditional love then allows us to let those passions and those purposes and those dreams and those desires to bubble up and not feel like, who am I to do that? Who am I to want that? How do I deserve that? Right? But we have to get to that place of unconditional love. And I know it may sound difficult, but it begins with forgiveness of self. It moves into forgiveness of others, right? And I'm going to be doing some of this work in the retreat I'm going to talk about in a minute. That's part of the program I'm doing, where you can really learn to surrender and let go of some of these things, right? There's that saying, when something happens to us and we're holding on to things, my divorce, for example, or other experiences I've had, right? If I'm going to hold on to that anger and I'm not going to forgive, then I'm drinking the poison and expecting the other person to die. Right? Have you heard that saying before? If I'm going to hang on to that bitterness, I'm holding on to it. I'm drinking that poison. I'm swallowing all that stuff, and I'm expecting the other person to die. And the other person doesn't even know that they're still, that they've even upset me or you or whomever, right? But let's take that a step further back and look at that forgiveness of self. The things that we've done that we might regret, that we feel sorry for or about, that we were doing the best that we could in that moment, and maybe it wasn't the right decision, but now, how can you learn to forgive yourself? What are the steps and the processes of doing that? And again, it really steps into this place of surrender, right? Knowing that you already are forgiven. If you believe in God, you are already forgiven. Asking for that forgiveness, allowing that forgiveness of self, loving yourself. Like I said, that sign on that chain link fence, you are loved, was a sign to me that I was forgiven and it was okay, and all life, was going to be all right. I was going to be okay. Here's some other things. When you allow things to flow and forgiveness to work its way in, and keeping that faith as part of it, right? Then we can get quiet, we can listen, we can experience, and we can allow that, again, unconditional love of self, working into unconditional love of others, which again requires compassion and forgiveness, and a variety of things towards others. And then that allows the faith of whatever it is that's meant to bubble up for you, whatever it's meant for your life to look like, whatever it's meant for you to step into, to have that confidence and that knowing that where you're going is where you're supposed to be. Now, I'm not saying that you're not going to have challenges. I'm not saying that you're not going to have trials, because you are. No doubt about it. When we are on the path of where we're supposed to be, there are going to be people and things and situations and circumstances that are going to get in our way. And it's really up to us to persevere, right? If we know this is what we are meant to be doing, if we know this is our God-given passion, if we know this is our purpose in life, then we know that we've got to keep going. And we may have to make little tweaks here and there, but we got to keep going. Because if we stop, what's going to happen, right? Well, I don't know. There's not going to be that fulfillment within ourselves. We're not living to our greatest potential. We're not living our best, yes, I can life. That's why I'm saying we need to keep persevering and keep pushing through. And again, there's nothing easy about it. It's going to get scary. People may not like what you want to do or how you want to show up or what you're wanting in your life, right? But if you know it's right for you, what does it matter what they think? Yeah, that's where we get tripped up, right? Because we're worried what everybody else is going to think of us. We're worried what everybody else is going to say. We're worried that we're not going to have friends if we move away. We're worried that we are going to be bashed on social media if we put up our view. We worry that we're not going to be perfect in everybody else's eyes. But does it matter if you're perfect in everybody else's eyes if you're miserable within? I don't think so. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thought on that, but I don't think so. So this restlessness is it's really a way for you to dig deeper in what that purpose is for you and where you're being called. And I want you to look at it as an adventure in your life, right? Many of you and the people who typically follow me are going to be in that not later side of life, but yeah, you're not the 20-year-old millennial, right? Who hasn't experienced, a lot of things in life that may be helping you to drive you on the various path that you're wanting to go. You probably have a little more wisdom, right? Because of the experiences you've been through. And so what I want to suggest is taking this and looking at it as an adventure, taking some time to really peel back those layers of those feelings and those things that are coming up and bubbling up, those things that keep knocking at your door, those things that you keep seeing when you're out and about, right? You know, have you heard, and I'm sure you have, well, maybe not the actual word, I think it's called the reticular activating system. Have you ever, maybe you're looking for a new car, and all of a sudden you see that car everywhere on the road, like everywhere, right? That's your reticular activating system, right? That you are talking about something, and so your brain starts looking for it. So as you are moving forward and you're following those dreams and you are following that nudge, that passion, that purpose, right? You're going to see more things along your way that are going to confirm where you're going. Have you had that happen to you before? I bet you have. I know I have, right? When we take that first step in action, right? When we talked about this a couple of days ago, when you dip your toe in, right, you may start to see some of the signs that, yeah, I'm going in the right direction. But things aren't going to really start to flow until you step in, right? Until you're committed 100%, 150%, which I get is scary, right? I get it because I'm doing some new stuff and I'm stepping into it. And I say this all the time. I walk my talk. I'm no different than you. I may be a step ahead of you, but I'm still taking the steps, right? It's a journey. Life is a journey. There's no end point. Well, there is an end point, but there's no, right? It's not a destination. It's a journey, right? And so we've got to take all these things that we're learning all throughout the years and where that's meant to go and keep it moving forward, right? And listening to that calling, listening to that passion, listening to that nudge. There was a woman that I interviewed on my podcast a couple of months ago, Kathleen Guthrie, and she'd written a book, but the book wasn't about this, but the social media post she does was this another book she'd written called The 52 Nudges, where she actually, at the beginning of the year, she writes 52 things down that she wants to do and puts them on little pieces of paper and puts them into a basket. And each week she picks another thing to go do, another adventure to try, right? It may be as simple as going and having coffee somewhere or baking something or whatever, but there's these nudges that we get and we ignore them. Why? Why do we ignore them? Why? Right? Sometimes I ask myself the same thing, right? I should have done that. Well, no, I'm not going to have, as the Yes I Can coach, as somebody who embodies the Yes I Can living, I will not end my life with those woulda, coulda, shouldas. I just won't. No woulda, coulda, shouldas for me. I can, I will, and I have is where I'm at. Or I can, I will, and I do. But that's because I'm willing to follow that inner guidance. I'm willing to listen to that guidance systems within me, within the universe that's telling me where I need to go or helping guide me in a different direction. I'm listening to that burning desire, that burning yearning within me of the things that I want to do, the restlessness. I'm answering the restlessness. I'm sitting quietly enough to figure out what that restlessness is for me and getting the answers to be able to move forward. And I'm moving forward for sure. And it may be just baby steps for you, but it's steps. If we're moving, if we have motion and action, again, and this is all areas of our life. This may be business. For me, there's a business piece of it, but there's also a personal piece to it, right? What is it for you? And how can you get there? So what I want to share with you real quick before our time is over today is a program that I'm going to be offering. Now, we're still going to come back tomorrow and actually put some of this into action and create a plan. But a program that I'm going to be offering, or I am offering to those who are participating in this class, because I really want to see you succeed in such a big way. I really want you to follow that inner nudge. I want you to be able to live your purpose and live your passion and bring them together and whatever that means for you, whether it's life or business or a combination of the two, because it really is all about life. So this program is 6 months long, because I want to see you be able to make the progress of what's going forward, right? And we're going to start with a 2 to 3 hour VIP session where we're going to sit down personally together in person. Yeah, you can come here to LA. I have a meeting space. We're going to sit down. We'll have lunch. We're going to talk. We're going to actually map it out. We're going to look at everything. We're going to build a business plan, but we're going to work on your lifestyle blueprint, right? One thing I've learned about living in the UK and in Europe and spending so much time, they work to live. They don't live to work. And here in the United States, we live to work. And that's just, in my humble opinion, so back-asswards. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to look at your business and we're going to look at your life and we're going to bring it together so that you can really create that best life for you. mapping out a plan for the next 6 months, looking and seeing where do you want to be at the end of this year? Where do you want to be in December? What do you want to be toasting on New Year's Eve? I'll be happy to toast it with you, right? But we need a plan. We need to have a plan of action. A plan is prayer in motion, right? Yes, we may have to tweak and shift and move about, but we're going to start with a plan. We're going to map it all out. And then we're going to meet 2 times a month on an individual private coaching call every single month or every other week for an hour. We're going to be going through, we're going to be checking in. I'm big on accountability. It's all about, we've got that plan. Now, what's the accountability that you're doing each week? Why aren't you moving forward? What's getting you stuck? What's in the way? Do we need to tweak anything? Maybe there's something different that needs to happen, right? We tweak as we go, right? So every other week, 2 times a month, we're going to be getting on a private, personal, one-on-one phone call, just you and me. The other thing you get to be part of, because I'm huge on support, is the Yes I Can Women's Collaborative. Now, this is a group that is online and in person. It is a membership organization where we have a couple of calls each month virtual. So we do virtual success circles where the ladies come on. There's masterminding going on. There's connections. There's collaborations being made. Oh my gosh, it's just amazing to me to watch how this person knows that person who needs something or other, right? Or, yeah, here's an idea that you could use in your business. Oh, I hadn't thought about that, right? It's working on the business, not in it. So you become a member of that. We also have in-person meetings. So there's, if you're here in Los Angeles, we have a lunch once a month where we get together and do the same success circle. We've also just added a new thing called Coffee and Connections, where we're bringing together guests and other women, and we're going to have a hot table topic each month. This month for June, it's social media. So we'll come together. So we're not necessarily masterminding and brainstorming on our own business, but we're looking at that bigger picture. What are you doing for social media? How's social media working? There might be some training on social media, right? And each month will be a different subject. Okay. And then there's other various events that are coming up with the Women's Collaborative, but you get to be part of that group, which is an amazing group of women, truly an amazing group of women. The next thing is you get to go to attend the retreat. I have 2 retreats coming up in the fall. They are the Divine Yes Retreat, Leader from Within. And that's lead her with an H, lead her from within. The idea with this is to really, in this group setting for this retreat, is to be in a very special place. I've picked 2 amazing, spiritual, quiet, gorgeous places away from the chaos of the cities that they're in. And the 2-day retreat is such that you're going to be able to take a deeper dive, peeling back those layers of figuring out, how can I find that unconditional love? How do I need to forgive? Who do I need to forgive? How do I need to love differently? How do I need to step into things? How can I listen more clearly? How can I be in that place of quiet and solitude and not in that place of fear and chaos, right? There is one that's being held in the Malibu area of California. That is September 8th and 9th. So it starts around lunchtime, both events, and goes through about 3 or 4 o'clock the following day. So September 8th and 9th is in this beautiful location in Malibu. It's called the Sarah Retreat Center. It's at the top of a hill overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Absolutely amazing. I've done one other retreat there already. So there are some pictures on Facebook. The other one is going to be November 4th and 5th in Austin, Texas. And it's being held at the Austin Presbyterian Theological Seminary. And we have this house on the property where, again, it's all surrounded by trees and quiet. Yeah, Austin surrounds us, but we are in the middle of just peace and calm. So you can choose one of those 2 events, wherever you're coming from, whatever dates might work for you. One of those 2 events, September 8th and 9th in Los Angeles or November 4th and 5th in Austin, Texas. The last piece that you get with this is in the middle, in that 3-month midway part, we're going to get together and have another 2-hour strategy session. We're going to be looking how things are going. We're going to reevaluate how things have been. We're going to tweak and move forward and what's ever going forward. And then we'll also kind of finish up with where things are with you, as the whole woman and the whole piece, right? Are you working towards those goals? Are those moving forward, right? So super important. And, there's just so much information. You will have total access to me, via text message, via email, via phone call. Those of you who've worked with me before know that I'm very accessible and want to support you to see your success. I get as much joy out of watching you go through and find those revelations and those ahas and that success for you. So anyway, so that is $400 a month. which comes out to 6 times 4 is 2,400. But if you want to pay in full, it's $2,100 flat, so that I'm giving a discount if you want to pay in full. But again, $400 a month. You're getting the retreat, you're getting the 3-hour VIP session with me, you're getting coaching calls twice a month, you're getting that middle, check-in meeting in person as well. So I'll send you an email in the recap today that spells it all out. But I would love to have you part of that. If you've been on this training at all, you understand the importance of personal development, of personal growth, and how that affects you, again, in all areas of your life: health, wealth, life, love, and your business. And how embodying and infusing your faith in all those areas can make for a huge transformation in your life. And it really can revolutionize your business in the way that you do business, in the way you think about business, in the way you run your business. That's putting it all together. That's Yes, I Can living. So that is today's session. What I'd love to have you do, as you get off this call or as you spend some time this afternoon, I want you, here's the homework for today, is to write a letter to the universe, or God, or source, or whatever you want to call it, right? It's actually writing a letter about, what your hopes and dreams are, where you're wanting to go, where you see things progressing. Here's the thing: when things need to change, the universe takes drastic action. It really does. It can break us mentally, it can break us physically, but there's that saying about it's always there's that breakdown before the breakthrough. Right? We've got to do the work. And it's work that you got to do yourself. I can't do it for you. I can hold your hand every step of the way. I will champion you. I will hold the space for you. I am there for you, whether you do this program or not. But you've really got to step into it, you and yourself. Okay? All right, thanks so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. It's been so much fun. Tomorrow we're going to come back together and we're going to talk about the actual plan and mapping some things out so that you can take what you've learned today and the last 4 days and put it all together to be able to create that plan so that your mindset is in the right place as you move forward and find that success that you deserve and live that Yes, I Can life. All right, until tomorrow, we will see you then. Have a great afternoon and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.